Championship Saturday continues on ABC with the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship from San Antonio, matching Texas A&M against Nebraska. Good afternoon and welcome everybody. With Dan Fouts, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. You certainly know the storyline. A year ago we were up in St. Louis. Texas upset Nebraska, denied them a shot at a national championship. This year, Dan, the Cornhuskers determined not to let that happen again. You went down and watched Texas A&M practice at home. Do they have the firepower to stay with the Huskers?
Well, I know one thing. They're relaxed. They're very confident. They feel they have nothing to lose in this game and everything to gain. Their offense, led by Tiki Hardeman, Sir Parker, and Dante Hall, 2,000 yards rushing among them. But the key in this one, the passing of Brandon Stewart. Only 2 interceptions on the year, and the Nebraska secondary is their weakness.
And I expect we expect to see that great option attack of Nebraska offensively.
Well, I think they're going to try and run the ball right at this undersized Aggie defense. They feel that their power with Amon Green behind Joel Makovicka is going to be the key for Nebraska.
There's an issue with Jason Peter, the great defensive tackle for Nebraska. He's going to try it despite a bad back. Jackaroo, what have you heard from the trainers about Jason?
Well, Brent, as you alluded to, Jason Peter is playing hurt. He didn't practice all week, and in fact, he didn't even engage in the walkthrough yesterday. I talked to the trainer before the start of the game, and they said they are going to try and manage his back spasm and the sprain that he had. They feel it's a fairly serious problem, and they'll have to continue to stretch him and see just how far he can go. Peter wants to go the distance. He's an emotional bundle right now, ready to explode. He remembers last year.
All right, Jack. Chris Brown with the ball on the tee. What's interesting here, ladies and gentlemen, is that we were told that Texas A&M won the toss. No deferring. Give us the football, they said right away. They want to go on the attack. R.C. Slocum telling us yesterday when we met with him that he's going to open this game up. He thinks to be successful against Nebraska, you've got to pass the ball so that his running backs get some daylight. He said if you let them sit tight around the line of scrimmage, you cannot move the ball on this defense. We've got to go for big plays.
And throw the ball in unpredictable situations. And Tom Osborne thinks that he's really concerned about the confidence level of his young secondary in the 2 games that they've struggled against Missouri and Colorado. The secondary has been the big reason, giving up too many big plays in the passing game.
25 years the headband at Nebraska, and the Cornhuskers ready with many of their faithful here. San Antonio, Texas, the second Big 12 championship. Hall deep in the end zone will take a knee, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line, and we will meet our Dr. Pepper lineup today. Let's start with the Aggies of Texas A&M. And their quarterback, Brandon Stewart, the second half of the season, 5 touchdowns and no interceptions, completed 62%, comes in with a hot hand. His receivers are the most improved part of the Aggies. Spiller, a very good tight end. Seamasy, he says he's the first Tongan to ever play for A&M, and he's mighty proud of it here today. And he hopes to open the way for the Aggie running backs. And the key man, number 7, the junior, Landon Stewart, who transferred from Tennessee. And they send a wide receiver motion. They open with 3 wideouts, and they're going to try to put it up. No time. And Jason Peter, bad back and all, storms in for the first sack of the game.
If you're going to be successful throwing the ball against any secondary, you've got to protect the quarterback. Jason Peter, number 55, picking up his 7th sack of the year. You can see that Stewart had no place to go with the ball. But interesting for the A&M. Want to spread out that Nebraska defense with using extra wide receivers.
Second down and 15. 2 tight ends the set this time. That's Campbell, number 89. H-back look, and they'll power in behind it. And number 34, Dante Hall, gets the call. Defensively, we have told you about the Jason Peters situation. Jason Wiltz right next to him, an underrated defensive lineman. Grant Wistrom, another All-American season. Jay Foreman, the son of a former NFL running great Chuck Foreman. And Eric Warfield at free safety, number 3, must step it up today if Stewart starts to air it out. Now it is 3rd down and 12 to go. And Stewart rolls hard to the right, fires high, incomplete. 3 and out for the Aggies. Warfield coverage on the far side.
And also true freshman Erwin Sweeney, one of those guys that has had some confidence problems of late. But even if that pass were completed by Stewart, he was still 3 yards short of the first down, thanks to that first down sack by Jason Peter.
Shane Leckler, one of the best in the country, and Bobby Newcomb, the exciting freshman from Albuquerque, New Mexico, back deep for the Cornhuskers. Side, one of the weakest punts we've seen from Leckler. In practice, he was hitting them about 60, 70 yards. And it bounces out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Well, we welcome the rest of you to the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. I'm Brent Musburger with Dan Fouts and Jack Arute. You missed one series of 3 and out for Texas A&M, and now Nebraska with Scott Frost at the controls. Their first series of the game.
Great field position too for Nebraska, but that's their norm.
Makovicka and Green, the option look, and Frost late pitch to Amon Green, who steps out of bounds. And we take a look at our Dr. Pepper Nebraska offense today. Frost the quarterback. Amon Green has rushed for 19 touchdowns. And of course, he's got an excellent blocking core of receivers. The one thing about Nebraska receivers, they will block downfield. And there is Aaron Taylor, All-American center a year ago and an All-American guard this season. Bobby Newcomb on the field as a wide receiver, the option in that direction, and Frost again pitches out to Green, and he pounds to the 46-yard line. Warwick Holdman of this A&M defense made the stop. This is an undersized defensive line. Brian Crowley going to have to play very big today. The linebackers, Dat Nguyen, 3 straight years leading the Aggies in tackles. And Shun Horn coming off a monster game, 13 tackles against the Horns a week ago. 3rd down and 1. The toss to Green. Looks for the hole. He's hit, but I believe he reached out for the first down. The spot will determine it. Crowley makes the stop for the Aggies.
You know, Brent, I think he's going to come up about 6 inches short. In fact, the officials are already giving the 4th down signal. Here it comes at us, and Crowley, number 45, gets penetration there on Makovicka, dives and makes a fantastic tackle on Amon Green.
And they are going to go. Tom Osborne did not hesitate. The ball at the Aggies, just shy of the Aggies' 45-yard line. Carpenter and Jackson will give him a couple of tight ends. They'll ask for the official measurement.
They just have so many weapons to use to
That's
pick
a
up
first
that
down.
Yeah, it is a first.
You bet. The nose of the football was right there.
And a great move by Tom Osborne to insist on the measurement. The officials were going to give him a 4th down.
Scott Frost, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards passing. First Nebraska quarterback to ever accomplish that. Eyes the defense. The delay with Green. They pull the left side of the line, and Green to the 44-yard line for a couple of yards. Dat Nguyen. What a sensational career he's enjoying at Texas A&M.
He's averaging 10.5 tackles per game in his career, and he does it on hustle and great speed. He gets up in the hole there. Just follow him, jump over the blocker, and bring down Green.
Matt Davison, the freshman, stretching wide to the right. Nebraska runs to the short side, and nothing doing for Green. He's hit by 3 Aggies right at the line of scrimmage. Zarek Rollins, the defensive end out of Houston. Marcus Hurd, the nose man from right here in San Antonio, in on that stop.
Well, when you have 3 guys that are as productive as these guys, it's this is the reason why Nebraska leads the nation in scoring. They lead the nation in rushing and in total offense.
3rd down and 8. 4 wideouts and a shotgun look here for Frost. His first pass of the game, left side, diving reception for a 1st down at the 31-yard line. He hits the freshman Davison. That's only the 2nd pass that Davison has caught since the miracle at Missouri.
Scott Frost showing real good discipline in the pocket here. Sees a real nice lane there and throws between 2 defensive backs to pick up that 12-yard gain. But Davison, he's a folk hero, isn't he?
He really is. Newcomb stays in the game. The ball is at the Aggies' 31-yard line. In the round, Newcomb cutting back to the left. He's got an alley. Frost throws a beautiful block. Oh, what a crushing block by the quarterback. And Newcomb is out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Wait till you see the replay of Scott Frost.
And the first thing, though, is this is an illegal block on number 51, Philip Myers, right here by Makovica, right in the back. That should have been called. But there's that crushing block by the quarterback, Scott Frost. Remember, he's 225 pounds, and he is big and strong.
He took out defensive back Sean Horn, and he leveled him over on that far side. 1st and goal. The power look, and now Frost cuts back, and he goes for the end zone in the game's first touchdown. Frost is determined to demonstrate that he's not a 3rd-string all-conference quarterback. He's much better than that.
Times he's done this on the ground for Scott Frost. The fake to Leggett with Makovica out in front. The Aggies go flying out for the pitch man, and this is what makes Frost so dangerous. He can pull tacklers on his way.
Brown pounds the extra point perfectly. First series of the game for Tom Osborne, and they send up the red warning flags. This is not Texas all over again. We are determined to get a shot at a title this year. We'll be right back. Scott Frost scores the touchdown, but we want to go back and show you the block which set it up, Dan.
Well, here's Sean Horn right here. This play could have been called right there, the illegal block. But now watch Frost from the left side of the screen destroy the defensive back. You just don't see that every day.
Did you ever throw a block like that in the NFL, buddy? Huh?
No. Not in college, not in high school, grade school. Don't know where to start.
He's an athlete, folks. They should have a special spot on the first team here at the Big 12 this year. Dante Hall is going to bring this one out to the goal line. 15, touchback to the 22-yard line. Check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Brent, this team of Nebraska Huskers has been lusting for this day for 12 consecutive months. Now, we've covered a lot of Nebraska games, but after that upset loss to Texas last year, they came into the championship game, the inaugural one, very, very flat. The same cannot be said today. They have been animated. They've been pounding on each other's shoulders. And, in fact, Jason Peter and some of the captains went around before the game and said, remember, full intensity, 100% right from the get-go. So far, so good.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday, Jack, they came out in helmets to practice. It was a far more orderly practice than a year ago in St. Louis. Dante Hall, the running back, and Stewart will show the shotgun look this time. Deflected, incomplete. Spiller coming up on the ball after it was deflected, but he was about half a yard shy of making a deflection reception.
Jason Peter and Grant Wistrom are used to winning football games, but they're also used to winning national titles. Here's Wistrom, and there's Peter jumping up and making the deflection. But they are providing the senior leadership. They're not going to allow these younger kids on the team to not be entirely focused on winning this game and then winning the next game and then seeing what the pollsters think.
That's Sir Parker as A&M goes empty in that backfield. He's a very good receiver along with the running back. Stewart looks long, and they try to get him down on that far sideline. Incomplete. Double covered. McFarland and Warfield with coverage for the Cornhuskers. Not a chance, and Stewart wisely aired it out of bounds.
The guy that put the big pressure on the quarterback was Chad Kelsey, the other defensive end opposite Grant Wistrom. And so far, the 0-for-3 start for Brandon Stewart basically because he just hasn't had time to set his feet and throw the ball.
3rd and 10 for the Aggies. It's a slot to the right. So the all-out passing game certainly hasn't worked. They'll come back with the inside game with Parker to the 24-yard line. And Jay Foreman, the middle linebacker, makes the stop.
This is where Shane Leckler, the punter for the Aggies, has really got to come through, because if Nebraska continues to have good field position, they won't feel threatened at all. They will just get into their normal offense and march on down the field again.
Newcomb ready. Osborne talking to his quarterback as he gets ready for his next series. And Leckler wails on this one. Newcomb from the 21-yard line. 30. Sprints to the left. He's dangerous. Tries to cut back now to the right. Gave up a couple of yards. Not a wise final move, and he is now at the 34. The one thing R.C. told me yesterday that most concerned him, he said, this is like a fight. We don't want to get knocked down too many times early. We can't stand that against these guys. They got to hang on now, and we'll be right back. San Antonio, a great setting for this Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship. Next spring, of course, they will host the NCAA's Final Four down here. This will be a great city for the Final Four. 1st and 10 for the Huskers, up by a touchdown. Frost brings the option to the wide side, puts it into Green's hands, and Green with an alley out to the 49-yard line. And Nebraska just using sheer muscle right now. Sean Horn makes the tackle.
See Scott Frost come down the line of scrimmage and not even look where Amon Green was. Just very patiently flick the ball out there. They've done it so many times in game conditions, but also in practice. Great relationship that they keep in the backfield allows Frost to pitch the ball blind.
The two freshmen, Newcomb and Davison, on the field as wideouts for the Huskers. 1st down, just shy of the 50-yard line. Here comes Green with that fake to Newcomb, and he keeps it around the left side this time, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A gain of 6 yards. Rich Cody, the strong safety, daddy once played for the Chicago Bears, gets him out on that far side. Well, that's how dangerous Newcomb is. You've got to account for him on the field. They have used the end around, and they have faked it.
And this time it's going to be the fake, and watch the influence. It's a good fake too. Little ball fake there by Green. He just rolls around the corner very patiently behind Eric Anderson and picks up a nice 6-yard gain.
2nd and 4 for the Huskers as a result. Amon Green slashes through to the 40 for a 1st down. And a reminder, more action being brought your way by Dr. Pepper. Tonight it is the SEC championship game presented by the Good Bottler, Tennessee and Auburn. Dan, do you have any feeling about Tennessee and Auburn tonight in Atlanta?
Well, I think that this is really going to be the showcase game for Peyton Manning. If he is going to have one, this is a good time for it, because there are a lot of people that are doubting he is the Heisman Trophy candidate.
This may wind up being a showcase afternoon for the Cornhuskers, and Frost is going to pull it back out off the option. Go down sideline. Newcomb got it. 15-yard line. Out of bounds. 1st down again. What a career Newcomb, who's only a freshman, has in front of him at Lincoln. A 26-yard gain on a reception. What do you do with this young man? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, he is an outstanding quarterback prospect.
But he can do more than just play quarterback. We've seen him on the reverse when he gained 25 yards. We've seen him on punt returns, but this is what he does best. Wide receiver, only 7 catches on the year.
Seen Nebraska several times this year, but I have never seen them any more focused than they are right now. Stepping back on the inside with Joel Makovica for a yard. Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, one of the reasons why Newcomb is playing is all the coaches realized early on that this young freshman was truly a great athlete. They said that kind of athleticism has to get out on the field. Scott Frost is our quarterback. So they converted him over. He still takes a few snaps now and again as a quarterback, and he says come spring, I want a chance to play quarterback. Tom Osborne's a little non-committal. He says, well, I'll make that decision come spring.
You know, one thing, Jack and Brent, is that we've seen him on one reverse. We've seen him fake the reverse. Watch for him to throw a pass on a reverse.
2nd and 9 from the shotgun. Inside shovel pass to Amon Green, who's inside the 10-yard line. Down at about the 8-yard line. That'll leave them with 3rd and short. Crowley, the defender for the Aggies.
This is that inverted shovel pass or option, however you want to call it. The key man right here is John Zadiska. Watch as he leads Green up the hole with the block on the linebacker, and another big positive gain for the Cornhuskers.
3rd and 3. Line up with Makovica in front of Amon Green. Amon running so smoothly. Makovica straight ahead, and Amon Green working to the right side, and Frost is down at the 10-yard line. Holman makes fine defensive play for the Aggies that time.
Couldn't have come at a better time, too, because that will force the field goal, and that's got to be a moral victory for the Aggies right now. Good penetration by the Aggies. They really bottled up the quarterback here. This was a run all the way by Frost, and great defense by the Aggies.
Chris Brown enjoying another banner season. He's 14 of 17 kicking field goals, along with 46. That came last week up in Boulder against Colorado. So he nails number 15 of the season. He's 15 of 18 on the 27-yarder to make it 10-0. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship being led by Nebraska. And a reminder of what's coming up prime time Monday evening. Hugh Downs will take you on a special trip at 8 Eastern. Tales from the Tomb, the Lost Sons of the Pharaoh. And that precedes the Panthers and the Cowboys on ABC's Monday Night Football. Believe it or not, as much as they're struggling, the boys are still in pursuit of a playoff spot. I guess, Dan, no one wants to win the NFC East this year, huh, pardon me?
Well, I know the Redskins are going to be in tough, losing Terry Allen and their quarterback, Gus Frerotte. It's good to see that Frerotte recovered, though, from banging his head against the wall, only to break his hip the next week against Dick Vermeil's team, huh?
Yeah, that was tough. He was being chased down from behind, and unfortunately they lose him because of that injury. Our buddy Dick Vermeil, of course, he was broadcasting this game a year ago when John Makovic made what a difference a year makes. Here's Vermeil coaching the Rams, and Makovic has been ousted at Texas and replaced by Mac Brown. Isn't it amazing what can happen in 12 months?
So I guess Dan Fouts and Mac Brown made out pretty good, huh?
That they all let this go down. He'll take a knee. It'll come out on the 20-yard line, and we ship it to New York and John Saunders. John?
Brent, time for the Burger King update. Quite a game in the WAC championship game. Kevin McDougal was outstanding. Takes the pitch here. They're actually just trying to run out the clock at this point. He takes off 66 yards for the touchdown. Had 255 yards on the day to go with 3 touchdowns as Colorado State heads to the Holiday Bowl, a 41-13 winner. Brent.
John, what a job Sonny Lubick has done. Colorado State. Sir Parker, the running back here for Texas A&M. Maybe they'll go back and try the muscle game. Here's Parker cut off. Nothing doing this time. That aggressive black shirt attack. Mike Brown, the Rover, number 21 out of Scottsdale, Arizona, all over the running back.
Talk about a bad start for your offense. They've run 7 plays now for the Aggies, and they have lost 2 yards in those 7 plays.
Gives you an idea. They face now 2nd down and 12. Coach McBride, the defensive coordinator, the longtime defensive coordinator, stability on the Nebraska staff. One of the reasons why they succeed. And Stewart with a fake goes downfield, incomplete. And again, Warfield had the man extremely well covered at the sideline. There was no daylight there for Stewart. Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, after the Aggie defense came off, R.C. Slocum was the first to meet them. He went to the corners, and specifically Horn and Webster, and discussed with them some of their coverage on the offense against this potent Nebraska team. They were more down than R.C. Slocum was. Slocum went to them and said, look, you held them to a field goal. Now we'll build from there.
And they'll try to build here with a 3rd and 12. Mark Broyles checks in as a protector from Stewart. They'll give him the shotgun and hope that the offensive line and Broyles can hold out the rushman. They double team Wistrom with Broyles. Throw downfield, incomplete. Diving attempt on the near side by Matt Bumgardner, one of their sophomore receivers, and it was not to be.
You got to make that play, though, if you're going to have any chance against a great football team like Nebraska. Stewart throws his ball perfectly, and Bumgardner is going to lay out for it but not bring it in. He gets behind the defensive back, and maybe, just maybe, Ralph Brown got a little piece of the receiver.
Not a first down yet for the Aggie offense, and Leckler backed up inside the 5. And Newcomb drifts back. Didn't give him 2 yards. Here comes the flag. He's going to get more than that. 35, 40, 45, 50. Look out, Newcomb to the 36-yard line after he was mauled on the catch. Oh, is this young man exciting? That's a 40-yard return on a 57-yard punt.
And you can't say that Leckler outkicked his coverage because number 27, Jeff Wilson, was there.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. The 2-yard buffer zone was violated against the kicking team. The penalty is declined. First down.
There's Wilson in that buffer zone. Man, that's a great catch. The guy was hanging on him when the punt is coming down. And then watch this athletic ability by Bobby Newcomb as he brings it back 40.
One of several great freshmen on this Nebraska team. We'll be right back. You are looking live at downtown San Antonio, Texas, site of this year's Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. And Jack Root, a lot of ways to follow the action here today.
Boy, Brent, you're looking live. Well, you can get live with ABC's College Football Online. They're live from all of today's championship games. The key word on America Online is ABC Sports. And you know what? You can talk to ace sideline announcer Jack Root at halftime. Wait a minute, that's me.
Well, there's a young man you can track on the computer. Bobby Newcomb, Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was born in Sierra Leone, Africa. The option. Here comes Frost. He's going to keep it. Big gain. 20, 15, cut left. Down at the 10-yard line from behind. Jason Webster perhaps saved a touchdown after a 26-yard run by Scott Frost.
You know, the one thing the Aggies have done well all year is they prevented big plays by the opposing offense. Great blocking everywhere. Lake on the outside, Makovic on the inside, and Frost running like a halfback. Another big one of those chunk plays for Nebraska.
Davison, the other freshman wide-out receiver, is off to the right of Frost. Makovic is straight ahead for a yard. We've mentioned Davison and Newcomb and how many talented freshmen are on this Nebraska team. This is as good a collection of freshmen as we've seen. Each of these youngsters have contributed in some way, Dan, to the success this year of the Cornhuskers. It's amazing. Even on special teams, young man like Vanden Bosch down there, and he'll be a starter in that defensive line someday.
And one thing Tom Osborne says, you know, people think we have a seniority system here at Nebraska, that you earn your way. We play the best athletes, and that graphic is testimony to that.
And he has some of the finest athletes in the country. Second down and 9, and now here's Frost. Here's that pitch. Green tries to square up and get downfield north and south, and nothing doing that time. Good defense.
Yeah, it's good defense. 2 plays in a row now for the Aggies. And remember, the last time Nebraska was down here, they come up with that big stop on 3rd down that forced the field goal. So they are playing good defense, but it's kind of late in the drive. Good job by Cody, though, making Frost pitch. And then Webster there is in there for the tackle on Amon Green.
Full for Mike today. One-time player with the Wolverines, Chevin Wiggins. And the field is a wide out. That option look, but Amon's in front of him, and Frost is going down, scrambled his way to about the 8-yard line, and the Aggies force another field goal attempt. So the Aggie defense has to hope that the offense comes alive, because what this team needs, some first downs just to keep the ball away from the Nebraska offense. That was Bradley making the play from his linebacking spot for the coach.
And Mike Hankiewicz said that their schedule has prepared him for this option. I'm not sure it's prepared him for the athletes that are running this option, but they're certainly doing well in the red zone.
26-yard field goal attempt. Ted Retzlaff, the holder, and Chris pulls this one through. 2 field goals, 1 touchdown. They've scored each time they've handled the ball, but the little nod of the head there would indicate that Coach Osborne is wishing for touchdowns and not field goals. You all know how that can go in a football game.
Their average start for their drives has been their own 48-yard line, and that's the one thing that RC wanted to force Nebraska to do is go 80 yards and perhaps have a turnover somewhere along the line.
Alamodome, the site of the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championships. Drew Esikoff, the director, Jimmy Ressler, the producer, and a crew that we want to thank for great coverage all season long. Cameramen, audio folks, they don't do it any better than this crew right here. R.C. Slocum now on that far side, and he desperately needs some offense to help A&M climb back in this one. There's Coach Osborne.
Number 35, Chris Brown.
He even looks more focused, doesn't he? Got that
Before the
stare.
game, Dan, when you were down on the field and I was up here watching when he came out on the field, he went through the entire group of Huskers. He spoke to each player down there as they were loosening up, had a few words of encouragement, shook hands, patted them on the back, but he made it a point to speak to each player. They're allowed to bring 66 on the road to this game. Fielded at the 4-yard line is Hall again, and he is down just short of the 20-yard line. Well, we'll watch that black shirt defense going to work again against Brandon Stewart, and this A&M offense needs to jump to life here. He's a young man whose confidence has improved, but he'll be a little bit shaky if he doesn't get that first completion pretty soon.
And it's up to the offensive coordinator, Steve Marshall, to give him something that will build that confidence. Just a short pass, maybe just a swing pass, anything to get that goose egg off the board. Yeah, he's got...
Aggies break the huddle. 4 down linemen. Dante Hall, the running back. The Huskers show blitz on the outside. Good block. Warfield comes up. Warfield is playing more aggressively than I've seen him at any time this season.
I know that pleases Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator for the Huskers, because he was a little concerned with Warfield being a senior. He should be the vocal leader out there. Today, I think Warfield is leading with his actions.
Not pleased with what happened late against Colorado. Now, that did not help Texas A&M either in this game, did it?
No, that certainly got the Cornhuskers focused in a big hurry. But the Buffalo's back in that one.
2nd and 9. Foreman blitzing, picked up, and then they come late, and it's picked off. Pressure on the quarterback, interception at the 16-yard line as Ralph Brown, the cornerback, the sophomore from Hacienda Heights, California, gives the Huskers another scoring opportunity.
And this is against a quarterback who's only thrown 2 all year. 126 straight attempts without an interception. But Brown just right in the middle of the field there, reading the pattern, picked him off easily.
This is the scenario that A&M feared the most. Now it's 1st down and 10. Nebraska up by 13 points. Still in the first quarter. Amon Green stopped. And the run defense for the Aggies here has been outstanding. That's Dat Nguyen. He's the young man who has led this team in tackles for 3 straight years. His family, of course, I'm sure many of you are aware of that story, immigrating over here from Vietnam. They got out before the fall of Saigon. And the young man, really a role model and just a great football player. Undersized, perhaps, but his heart's bigger than most. Now Frost, play fake. Right. Vershawn Jackson out of Omaha, the tight end, wide open all alone. He drops the ball.
You know, and Tom Osborne draws up all these plays, and all he can ask is that his players execute them. It's good fake, good protection for Frost, good throw by Frost. No catch by Jackson, but you can hardly blame him. He's only caught 4 all year. This is the 12th game of the year.
Coach pats him on the back as he comes over to the sideline. 3rd and 12, and it'll be the shotgun look for Frost. Plenty of time. They're going to swing it out to Green, short of the first down, and it's another field goal opportunity coming up for Nebraska. Sean Horn makes the stop for the Aggies.
Just a little bit of frustration being shown on the face of Scott Frost, but when you've got a field goal kicker like Chris Brown, he's kicked 14 consecutive field goals for Nebraska to set a new school record. This is almost automatic for him.
31-yard attempt. Retzlaff the holder. Such smooth form as he puts another one through. Almost automatic for Coach Osborne of the Huskers this year. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. And our presentation of the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Nebraska up 16. For Scott Frost on the left, it's the lucky 7 coming early. For Brandon Stewart on the right, he's crapping out with the number 7 right now and hoping that something positive happens here in the second quarter as Nebraska dominates Texas A&M and leads our Dr. Pepper's Big 12 Championship 16-0. Brown continuing to bury those kickoffs back in the end zone, and it'll come out now on the 20-yard line. Dan, have you seen anything about Brandon Stewart? Can they do anything? You said throw a high percentage pass. He tried that the last time, and it was intercepted.
Well, I tell you one thing. The biggest thing right now for Brandon is to realize, hey, we got 3/4 of this ball game to play. No sweat. We're on our 20-yard line now. Don't worry about things that have already happened, guys. Let's worry about this play and this series. Let's get a first down.
Remember, they trailed Oklahoma State by 15 in the 4th quarter and pulled it out. So Tiki Hardeman is in there with Parker. They're going to show the eye and see what happens here with Parker as he slashes on a cutback behind the left side. And you want to see some lopsided numbers, Dan. Here they are.
And A&M is just lucky. It's just 16-0. And I guess we are too, because this could get real ugly in a hurry when you look at this. And A&M is a very good offense. Their 3 rushers have gained over 2,000 yards. Not today so far.
2nd and 8. Parker again cutting back and wrestled down by 3 of the black shirts, which is the nickname for the Nebraska defense. And we send you down to check in with Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, you were talking about that Oklahoma State game. Before that game, A&M engaged in what we call revolving quarterbacks. They shuffled them and shared the role between McCowan and Stewart, because last year when Stewart came out, they said, well, maybe there's too much pressure on him, and he didn't really do too well. They wanted him to learn and get better. But they said that Oklahoma State game, R.C. Slocum did, was the turnaround for Brandon Stewart. Right now, he needs another kind of turnaround to get his rhythm, as you said, Dan Fouts.
And now R.C. Slocum needs to get a first down. 3rd down and 6. Aggies haven't had a first down in this game yet. High reaching grab. That's short of the first down. Chris Taylor making the catch, and he was defended by Erwin Sweeney, another of the fine freshmen. He starts at one of the corners for Nebraska, and so it's 3 and out again.
And I'm not sure I understand the pass pattern there by Chris Taylor. It was about a 5-yard hitch pattern when he needed 8 to 10 to pick up the first down. You want to throw those hook patterns where the receiver will catch the ball already at the first down yardage.
Busy man, the punter, and Newcomb stands back on his own 26-yard line. He could give Nebraska good field position again. Fair catch by one of the short men, and that's Lance Brown. They put 2 players on the wing and Newcomb back deep. That's a familiar formation for Nebraska. San Antonio, side of the Alamo. You know who Texas A&M feels like right now. We'll be right back. Number 12, Bobby Newcomb. 6 feet, 185 pounds, freshman from Albuquerque. He has done it all. Here he is on the end around, rushing for 25 yards. Caught a pass for 26 yards. One of his punt returns, shake and bake, and loose for a 40-yard return. All-purpose yards for Newcomb, 106. Taking a look at himself up there.
He was, wasn't he?
And that big screen up there, and that's good.
Yeah, you bet it's good. That's great.
What a day he's having also. Scott Frost, the trigger man. Mon Green, big hole, left side. Plows to the 42-yard line, and that's a gain of 6 yards on first down before Webster makes the stop.
You know, we talk about Amon Green and Scott Frost and Joel Makovica, but Newcomb, as we've seen, has been the star so far today, and he really is the missing ingredient in this offense. A big play wide receiver that can stretch the defense and make the running game that much more effective.
2nd and 4. Green, he's the eye back. On the toss to the short side, number 30 squares it up and smashes for the first down. Mon Green, one of the finalists for the Doak Walker Award, enjoying a very quiet great season. And watch Datwin look for number 30.
And watch the block here by Joel Makovica, and that sends Wynn all the way over on the cartwheel. He's lucky he didn't get hurt seriously on that one. But that's the type of effort that Datwin gives you, play after play. Totally fearless.
1st and 10 for the Huskers. Their own 49-yard line. Up 16, and Frost going to throw it downfield in the middle. Got a man tight end at the 25-yard line. Make it Jeff Lake, the split end. Number 89 for 26 yards on that pass play.
And Scott Frost can afford to smile with his offensive lineman, Matt Hoskins, there. This is only Jeff Lake's 4th catch of the year for only 14 yards, but he didn't come to Nebraska to catch passes. He came to block.
He's built like a tight end.
Yes, he is. 6'4", 220.
1st and 10 from the 25. There's the option. Frost going to keep it. Now a late pitch. Amon Green's gone. Touchdown. As he reached for the corner. Did he get it? He may have been out at the 1. May not have got the pylon as he was going out of bounds. Down at the 1. Shun Horn. The corner on him.
But you know, something hit the pylon. And if it's the ball, it's a touchdown. Because the pylon is across the goal line. Great pitch by Frost. And great effort by Green here. And a pretty good tackle. Knocked the official out of the way.
He got the pylon, but his knee, I believe, brushed out of bounds as he hit it. Let's see what they're deciding here. No, they have changed it. The official who had the call
It is a touchdown, Brent. But the official that was closest never saw it, I guarantee you that.
Absolutely. And Brown adds the extra point for the Cornhuskers.
You know it's all work in your favor when the quarterback can come down the line of scrimmage, gain 5 or 6 yards by himself, and then pitch it to his tailback, who can dive from about the 4-yard line here and will break the plane. Basically with the point of the ball, though, Brent. I disagree with you.
No, watch the leg. Watch the knee from that other angle. That leg is down out of bounds. That knee is down right there. That is not a touchdown. Oh, well, does anybody think they would have stopped them from the 1? Not me, folks. 23 zip. We'll be right back. I have never seen a collie this angry. I mean, Reveille is saying, what is going on here, partner?
Well, Brent, you are absolutely right, because Amon Green's knee is clearly out of bounds before that ball breaks the plane. But this official here, he really takes the tumble there.
He was wiped out on the play. Dante Hall backed up in the end zone. And way short of the 20. Down at the 14-yard line. Jackaroo, what was going on with the officials down there on that play, partner?
Well, Brent, during that commercial break, I had a chance to ask them what the situation was, and they said, remember that the goal line is like a plate of glass. That pylon creates an out of bounds, but it is part of that plate of glass. When the ball hit that plate of glass, they said it's a touchdown. But they had to check with 2 other officials. 3 officials said, yes, it's a touchdown. That's why it stayed.
Well, we've got the advantage of super slow motion, folks, and that is no touchdown. The knee is down out of bounds, but so be it. Here is Sir Parker. Stewart throws into the middle, and a foot race with Derek Spiller, the talented tight end. 35. Warfield with the angle, pushes him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. There is a first down. That's the first of the game. And it took a 63-yard pass play on Stewart's completion to his tight end, and maybe that will lift up the Aggies.
And look at the speed for the tight end. Spiller goes about 240. He runs away from Jay Foreman there, but it's the speed of Eric Warfield that's going to force him out of bounds. Well, you talk about a play that a team needs. The question is it too late? A lot of time left, though.
Stewart at the line of scrimmage. Still 11 minutes here in the first half. Tiki Hardeman in as the running back along with Parker. Chad Kelsey, number 57, making the stop for Nebraska. And Jason Peter is coming off the sideline. He sat out one series defensively, and it is just possible. And you look at that expression on his face as he comes to the sideline, and it is possible that the spasms are starting to act up. He did not even suit up for practice yesterday. Second down and 9. And here's the toss. Parker, nifty, elusive runner going no place because number 21, Rover Mike Brown, all over him, and clearly there is a problem with Peter. I asked him what happened, whether it was injury in the Colorado game or what. And he said, Dan, he was in the weight room, and you know they have that chin-up bar, and they had him doing some pull-ups. And he said it came a couple weeks ago, and he stretched something in his back, and it just hasn't felt right ever since.
And the amazing thing is, in that Colorado game, the Texas A&M coaches watched that tape and said, he has a bad back. We don't believe it. He was unblockable against the Buffaloes.
Steve Warren replaces him in the defensive line. Stewart on a play fake gets no time at all. Completed the pass to the 16-yard line, but he was under enormous pressure that time from Kelsey, the defensive end.
Peter not only didn't practice yesterday, Brent, he didn't practice at all during the week, just some light jogging. Doesn't really look like they're going to need him today, though. This job by Chad Kelsey, he's been in on a number of plays here in the first half.
Kyle Bryant, like his counterpart in Nebraska, enjoying a good season. This a 32-yard field goal. Trying to put the Aggies on the board here in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game, and he does just that. (23-3) Nebraska with the lead. And tomorrow, the season premiere of Payne Weber College basketball on ABC. Kansas and Maryland. Then at 4 Eastern, stars of the PGA and the LPGA tours team up with the J.C. Penney Classic. There's a long hitting duo, huh? Laura Davies and John Daly, they'll get it off the tee pretty good.
Yeah, I would just have Jason Peter go to the locker room and just start the rehabilitation process right now. They got to think about that bowl game coming up, and they need him to be healthy, regardless of who their opponent is. You have those back spasms. There's nothing but rest is going to make it any better.
Great warrior. George Young, the general manager, who apparently is stepping out with the Giants to go into the league office at the end of this season, a keen evaluator of talent. thinks that Peter is going to be one of the first players picked in the upcoming NFL draft. His brother, of course, was picked up by the New York Giants. He's been a backup. Asked Jason how he's doing. He said, Christian, doing fine. Expected a little more playing time. There have been some injuries in the Giants' defensive line. High, short kickoff. Wiggins. 15, 20. Nice return to the 33-yard line. And Peter is indeed going to go on inside here with 8:43 left in the first half. Jack Arute had him walk right past him. So our man is on the scene down there. And Jason appeared to be in pain, didn't he?
Yes, Brent, he's in a lot of pain. But one of the things about Jason Peters, he wants to go back out. So the doctors have decided they're going to take him back in the locker room and evaluate the condition. Because, as Dan, as you said, they need him for the bowl game.
Stopped at the 34-yard line. Good defensive play by linebacker Trent Driver, the senior from Cleveland, Texas. What's your feeling about Ahman Green? Dan, you've watched him a few games now.
You know, the amazing thing for me, Brendan, here this guy has gained, about 1,700 yards. He's got 10 consecutive 100-yard games. The only game he didn't get 100 yards in, he got 99 and only played the first half of the Akron game. If he were on any other team but Nebraska, they'd be talking Heisman Trophy for Ahman Green.
Option, wide side, late pitch to Ahman Green, pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line by Rich Cody. Well, there is the young man. His name, Jack Webb. You know, he doesn't look nervous at all to me from Tulsa. There he is, huh? His baby there on the sideline. Lisa, Mama, is right next to him. There's Lisa. My goodness, he got a possible $1 million at stake here on the Dr. Pepper Challenge, and this is a nice day to be at the ballpark, huh? We'll see what he finally chooses. I'd like to see kickers relax, folks. Ross pulls out. There's back. Wide open is Brown. Oh, he was all alone in the secondary. Out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Schoenhorn, the defender. But you talk about somebody who was wide open. You know, besides running, Scott Frost has been extremely accurate today. That's 27 more yards for the Cornhusker quarterback, who is 6 of 7, and the 7th was dropped.
Well, look at the time to throw, Brent. I think you could complete that one.
Not so sure.
Do you know that Scott Frost has not been sacked in the last 4 games? Easy to be accurate when you don't have that pressure back there.
Here's Ahman. He's bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Coming across that time was Stephen Young, the nose man, number 90, just a freshman. We talked about the stability on the Nebraska coaching staff. Let's take a look at our Home Depot coaches fact. Now, this is combined 152 years experience. Participated in 149 bowl games, about to be 150. Green is out, and Jay Sims checks in as the I-back for the Huskers. Frost rolls right, wide open again, and there's Davison, the freshman, going down at the 20-yard line to pick up a 5 on the pass play. Webster, the defender for the Aggies. And Ahman will watch from the sideline. Do you think he would be a first-round draft choice, or do you think he'll wind up back in Lincoln next season?
I asked Tom exactly that, and he said the thing that with Ahman is he's having his dad handle all that type of thing, so he can focus on this game and the bowl game. He expects to have a conversation with Ahman after the ball game about his plans for next year. I think Tom wants him to come back, obviously, and I think Tom thinks he needs one more year of seasoning before he goes on to the NFL.
His replacement, number 31, had a knee problem. He's wearing a heavy brace underneath. Back to the fullback, first down, and still battling his way. There's your former walk-on inside the 10-yard line. If you're looking for a blocking fullback in the NFL, one of those Rathman type guys, folks, dial up number 45 in Lincoln. What a great, great fullback he is.
But you know, Brent, he's really not like a fullback when you see niftiness like this. Watch after the catch. Makes one guy miss there, skips inside another, jumps over one guy, and then as a true fullback will, he'll punish that tackler.
The gate replaces him. Two fullbacks, power look this time. Sims, the pitch man, got it. So with both fullbacks, Sims carries on the option that time to the 8-yard line, and Rich Cody forced to make the play.
Well, if there was ever a time for a turnover, and the Aggies have got a positive 16 in the turnover ratio, they need one now. They cannot afford to let Nebraska go in and score a touchdown here.
Green returns. Sims back to the sideline. Ross is going to pull it out. Left side wide open, but short of the end zone. That pass was a little bit high that time, and TJ Debates went up to take it down. Had the pass been thrown a little bit lower, I think he would have made the end zone.
I think you're right, Brent. The throw, it does sail because Philip Myers is in there. If he can make that catch without leaving his feet, then Shun Horn will not have any chance of stopping him.
Coach Osborne, it is 3rd down and goal. Makovica is right behind Frost. Green up over the top. Touchdown, Nebraska. Six possessions against Coach Slocum and the Aggies. This is the 3rd touchdown. They've also kicked 3 field goals. They've scored every time they have touched the ball here in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Chris Brown adds the extra point. So Amon Green and the Huskers are holding up their end of the bargain. But remember, down the road, no one will become a bigger fan of Ryan Leaf of Washington State than the Huskers. We'll be right back. The Husker fans are here in force. A great traveling party. This the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. And they hope to move on down to the Orange Bowl. Dante Hall will take a knee, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. Jack, what's coming out of the locker room about Jason Peter?
Well, Brent, they finished the evaluation, and the medical people from Nebraska have determined that Jason Peter has re-injured his back, and they don't want to take a chance. Not that it could be a severe problem in the long term, but they don't want to take a chance for the bowl game. With this game 30-3, they've determined that Jason Peter should get in his civvies and watch the rest of it from the sidelines.
That's exactly what Dan Fouts suggested. Finley and Harrison in that defensive backfield. Brandon Stewart on a play fake. 1st down, not much time, but he completes it. And he hit his tight end Derek Spiller with his 2nd catch of the day. He's got 23 balls. He had their biggest gain of the day. Dan Fouts, Jack Arute, I'm Brent Musburger. This is the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. The Alamodome in San Antonio, Texas. I was talking to one of the fine executives from the Alamo Bowl down here, Bob Coleman, who lives here in San Antonio, and he believes that Purdue might wind up with a shot to come to the bowl game this year, and that would be exciting to have a win down here. Joe Taylor's done a great job with that team. The fullback, Tiki Hardeman, up the middle. Only his mother calls him by his first name of DeAndre. Everybody else refers to him simply as Tiki.
I wonder what the Cornhuskers call him. They probably just say, "You're stopped." But it is a 1st down, and that's why we get the cheer from the Aggie fans. 2nd 1st down of the day.
Not much to cheer about if you're an Aggie today. It is 30-3. Gives you an idea of how the Cornhuskers are dominating. Brandon Stewart going to drop off the screen underneath, and it was so well defended against Dante That time there was just absolutely nothing doing. Steve Warren, who has replaced Jason Peter, number 96, rushing over to make the play. Not only are the Cornhuskers talented, but they are deep.
That's why they can afford to tell Jason Peter to just take the rest of the day off. Got a sophomore like Steve Warren to back up Peter, but also Mike Rucker, number 84, has had a great year, backing up Chad Kelsey.
A lot of backups in there. I saw Carlos Polk, a freshman, who was on the field. Stewart on a blitz. Oh my! The defender had slipped on the play, and Bumgardner let it get away. He was too wide open.
Man, oh man, when it goes bad, it really, really goes bad for the Aggies. Brandon Harrison, a backup cornerback, number 2, was covering Bumgardner. He goes out of bounds here. The ball is there, right through the wickets. Is there anybody around him?
No, the safety would have had a bit of an angle, but he was a long way away, Dan. I thought that it was touchdown A&M. 3rd down and 9. Stewart runs hard to the right, and everybody's juggling the ball, aren't they? Finally, Chris Cole hangs on that time.
You know,
they're short of the 1st down, and they're going to punt. Dan?
0 for 6 now on 3rd down conversions. Why not go for it here? You're down by 27 points. It's 4th down and about 2 or 3 yards, but Slocum elects to kick the ball back to the Huskers.
So Wiggins, Brown, and Newcomb back deep. And Brown makes the fair catch at the 26-yard line. We'll take a break. Bumgardner knows he let one get away just a few moments ago. We'll be right back.
44 yards.
Hyping the Heisman. More than 50% of the votes are in. It's over. Peyton Manning has won it. Woodson is second. Here comes Frost to the wide side. Oh, bad pitch on the ground. Amon Green's got it at the 19-yard line. Daylight for a moment, Dan, for the Aggies.
Yeah, they're human after all. But that's one thing about Nebraska with this type of offense. They've fumbled it 32 times this year, but they've only lost 13 of them. And I think that's because they have a lot of players around the ball at all times. And then when a pitch goes awry like this one, Amon Green's heads up enough and athletic enough to cover it and not lose it again.
4 wideouts. Shotgun. See if the offensive line holds up. They have all day, and they're going to run the quarterback right out of the shotgun. And look at Scott Frost. Beautifully conceived play, Dan. They simply spread the defense with the 4 wide receivers, and it just ran him on quarterback draw for 12 yards.
And the bottom line is not good for Aggie fans today. We talked, though, about how focused Nebraska was coming in. And you're right, Brent. Their practice yesterday, there wasn't any horsing around, as you usually have on the day before a game. Guys are loose and everything. But we're just wondering if old Jack Webb is going to go for that $1 million kick or that, the $250,000 kick.
Love to see how relaxed he is. It's Frost. Got a man wide open. It's Davison. Got him. Davison wide open. 35, 30. Foot race now. Going to get tackled out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Caught by Rich Cody, the safety. And there's the miracle worker, Davison. Except for that catch against Missouri, the Cornhuskers wouldn't even have a shot at a national championship. But they've got a glimmer, just a glimmer of hope.
Well, this is 10 completions now for Scott Frost to 7 different receivers. But the amazing thing is it's another big play. The A&M defense has not allowed a lot of big plays this year. In fact, they've only allowed 1 over 39 yards.
Newcomb with a slot into the top of the screen. And run to the short side. They use that play so often. Mon Green into the 10-yard line. We have talked about Davison and where he came from, and you have seen this play over and over again. Watch what Dan Fouts is going to tell you here.
Well, there he is. Here's Wiggins up here. Frost is going to look this way to begin with. The pass goes here, but watch Davison go all the way across the field. Sure, they were lucky on this play, but they were also hustling Matt Davison with a dive.
And here's Frost, cuts back down at the 1-yard line, scrambling toward the goal line for still another touchdown here with 30 seconds still to go. There is Davison. He just remember what the coaches told him. If it's not coming your side, just hustle back toward the ball. And that's what he did on that fateful day. Timeout has been called by the Huskers here, leading at 30-3.
Unstoppable.
And R.C. Slocum certainly knows what you're talking about. He hasn't been able to stop this man today. Let's take a break. Well, Championship Saturday is fast becoming a blowout Saturday, but there's still one to go. And folks, this one could wind up being a dandy. It is the SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper. Tennessee against Auburn. That's coming up next. You know, our friend John Saunders, he voted for Moss. I mean, didn't he do that the second week of the season for the Heisman?
Yeah, I'm not sure Moss is even going to be in the top 4.
But they invited him to New York, maybe, huh?
Well, that means they invited 4 guys, so I think he's going to be 4th.
Hey, Ryan Leaf will get some votes. He might be 3rd, do you think?
And some guy named Woodson might get a few himself.
We already said Woodson was going to be 2nd. Frost coming down the line. In for the Nebraska touchdown.
And maybe they ought to invite that kid.
He certainly would be one of our candidates. I cannot believe that he's the 3rd string quarterback in the Big 12. Watching what he's accomplished here this year.
2nd touchdown of the day on the ground. 19 on the year for Scott Frost. An amazing year when you consider all the great rushing quarterbacks that Tom Osborne has had. Scott Frost may be the best, at least statistically he is.
Chris Brown adds the extra point. Well, with Frost, and you go back to the Missouri game, remember, on the drive for the tying touchdown, he marched that team 65 yards without a timeout, and on the final 7 seconds, he was throwing the ball into the end zone. He gave him a chance that day.
And he's 10 out of 11 throwing the ball today for 176 yards. And I asked him yesterday, in fact, I went up and congratulated him on making 3rd team all Big 12.
Oh, I bet he loved that.
Well, he said, you know, I just don't understand it. What do you have to do? I said, well, Scott, you just got to keep hanging those W's on people. He says, you know what, you're right.
You know, you were talking about quarterbacks. What is Peyton thrown for? 3,400 yards?
Yeah.
32 touchdowns?
Yeah.
How many times does he... Now, Woodson's had a great year. He's the defensive player of the year. How many great plays has he made? 15?
He's
16?
made a few, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They've been on national TV, and he's got a lot of exposure
I shouldn't be asking a quarterback this, but a quarterback handles the ball on every snap. Of course they're the most important play. Why am I telling you this? You already do that.
Brent, it's kind of like a presidential election. If you're going to, win the White House, you got to carry the South. You're going to win the Heisman. Peyton's already got the South. He had it back in July.
Made for a great argument, though. What a game Woodson had against Ohio State. And he'll face Ryan Leaf in the Rose Bowl. That'll be coming up on New Year's Day. And R.C. just scratching his head. It has been tough going against this man's team. 25 years. Fastest man ever to 250 wins. And it has been really agonizing today for the Aggies. Stewart will line it up in a shotgun. Final 30 seconds. Look at that heat. Sacked at the 10-yard line. Almost time. You'll have to make a decision on how far he's going to try it. How much money. Jack, what a great name. They'll play the old Dragnet's theme song when he goes out there. You know, partner?
He's got to be hoping that he can just hit the net behind the goalpost.
The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. A rout so far. 37-3, Nebraska. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge are coming up. So let's send you to the big fella now. John, take it away. At the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, the sun is setting on the Texas A&M Aggies. They trail Nebraska 37-3 with Dan Fouts. I'm Brent Musburger. And Dan, what did Tom Osborne say to you after the Colorado game, which they almost let get away a week ago?
Well, he said the mood of the team was similar to when the mood after the Missouri game. Well, Nebraska goes out and puts 77 points on Iowa State, and right now they're right on pace to put that many on A&M. And the real bad news for A&M is that Nebraska gets the ball to start the second half.
Kyle Bryant with the ball on the tee. As you can imagine, the numbers here, not just the score, but they're all in favor. There's a penalty against the Aggies. Everything's still backing up on them. And Jason Peter, this is the worst note for the Cornhuskers as they look ahead. And the bad back forced him out during the first half. And hopefully he'll be back in shape for their bowl game.
On the kicking team, kick out of bounds. Ball will be put in play at the 35. First down.
So here you can see the first half statistics, and really not a ray of hope there, Dan, for the Aggies.
Well, the Aggies are a team that's averaging over 200 yards rushing a game, -3 here in the first half, and you really got to hand it to the black shirts of Nebraska. They're stopping everything.
And they open up with 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts, and this one running back, Amon Green, who was wrestled down at the 36-yard line, the third member of our team, Jack Aru. Jack, did you make that loan with Jack Webb, who made that field goal halftime, partner?
Well, he said he wanted to write me a check. But, Brent, I checked with R.C. Slocum, and surprisingly, you know what he was upset about in the first half? The lack of passing yardage. He felt that they didn't really capitalize on some passing that he feels is necessary. So he's not going to really change much. Tom Osborne, on the other hand, counseled his team about not letting up like they did against Colorado.
Newcomb is Nebraska's slot receiver, the freshman toward the top of your screen, number 12. And they option the short side of the field. Lamont Green, fumble! Aggies still loose. Rebobbled. Aggies signal that they've got it. They certainly had it the first time. Let's see if they have got it again. They dash off the field. The officials, yep, the Aggies come up with that football.
That's Philip Myers, number 51, at the bottom of the pile. Ripped the ball loose and really has given the Aggies the best possible start to this second half. Amon Green with the fumble. And give credit to Toya Jones, number 5, for ripping the ball loose from Green. And then it's really a mad scramble.
Good hit by number 5 as Myers wraps it up. So Brandon Stewart and the Aggies with field position at the Cornhuskers 45-yard line. That's the good news. The bad news is they're down by 34, 37-3. They'll go with 1 running back. He's a good receiver. Sir Parker's number 8. But the offensive line has got a hold out Nebraska. Play fake. Stewart on a throwback, deflected, almost intercepted. Wistrom had jumped into that lane, and he almost picked off that throwback to the short side, and he could have been long gone.
This is how good this fella right here is. Check out Grant Wistrom after the play action fake. He sees the lineman coming out on this screen pass, and if he picks this one off, he might go all the way for a score. Another first-round pick in the NFL draft, number 98.
You want to watch him. He'll get down on the right side of the defensive line. On 2nd and 10, Stewart in running for his life and throws incomplete. That's Chris Cole, the sophomore from Orange, Texas.
Incomplete.
The comparison of our 2 quarterbacks, and well, might tell the story of this game. Scott Frost 10 of 11, and the 11th was dropped. Should have been caught. He's also rushed for 40 yards, scored a couple of touchdowns, and the number's not nearly as good for Brandon. Sneaking a peek, were you, at those numbers up on the screen, Scott? We caught you.
He's got to like them. They're beautiful.
You got to like him, too. 3rd down and 10. From the pocket, deep and overthrew the wide receiver, Chris Taylor. freshman, number 42, and not a well-thrown ball.
Yeah, I've been in situations like this, Brent, and you just don't know what to do. You roll out, you get a little time to throw, and the time you pick out a receiver, he's got two defensive backs standing right next to him. Rough afternoon for Brandon Stewart, as they're now 0 for 7 on third down conversions.
This game gives you an idea of just how good Corby Jones is up at Missouri with the job that they turned in on a home game. High punt. They're going to bluff this fair catch and let it bounce. Great punt. Out of bounds inside the 5-yard line for Leckler. That's a beauty. Marked at the 3-yard line. Shows you why he's number 3 in the nation, according to the NCAA statistics. Let's take a break. We'll come back. It's all Nebraska at the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. And a reminder, at the end of the game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of each team. And today, Chevrolet has awarded over $6.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. Scott Frost and the Huskers coming out from inside the 5. Nothing doing for Amon Green. Sharp tackle by you-know-who. Dat Nguyen. What a performer he has been through the years for Texas A&M.
You know, the amazing thing, he's playing inside linebacker. He's 6 feet tall, maybe. He weighs 215 pounds, and he averages 10 tackles a game over 3 years. That's incredible. 4 today.
Osborne's offensive assistants decide to use a couple of tight ends and the freshman Matt Davison. That's Davison in motion to the short side. They're going to play fake this one, and they're going to throw it out of the end zone. Overthrew the tight end at the 20-yard line. Third down at 11. Might not have made that call had it been a tight game.
I think you're right, Brent. I don't think Tom Osborne wants to be thrown out of his end zone in a tight game, but this is not a tight game. You know, A&M had a real opportunity after the Amon Green fumble, taking over at the 45-yard line, but going 3 and out. Perhaps now they can make a turnover and get it in the end zone. Looks like the only way they'll be able to score.
Here's 3rd and 11. Quarterback draw, and Frost way short. So Nebraska punting out of its own end zone. Bernard and Nguyen again. Number 9 is a dandy, isn't he?
And that tackle, I think, really got Scott Frost's attention. They really blasted him. Taking a lot of big hits this year. That was a nasty one from the blind side.
Dante Hall back deep to return Jesse Cush's punt. Cush watching that in line to make sure that he's standing in front of it. Left-footed punt. Hall going to give Texas A&M good field position. Inside the 40 and free. 35, 30. Puts a shake and bake move on the punter. Down at the 17-yard line. Cush makes the touchdown saving tackle.
Yeah, this is a great return, and the return was set up to the far side of the field, so that meant that Hall had to make a few Cornhuskers miss, but the one guy he wanted to make miss was perhaps the worst athlete out there, the punter, Jesse Cush. This is a great play by Cush, preventing the touchdown, but it looked like Hall was stumbling anyway.
Now Stewart with field position inside the Huskers' 20-yard line. Parker is his lone running back. Wide open. He hit number 89, Danny Campbell, the other tight end, who's out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
To say that it's imperative for A&M to score on this possession was it's obviously stating the obvious, but you know, Campbell is going to give it his all after the catch. Big tight end, strong guy. R.C. Slocum likes his 2 tight ends. They got to get this ball in the end zone.
It's imperative the Aggies score their next 4 possessions, partner. Second down and a 4. This is Hardeman. He was the big, durable back doing the job against the Longhorns last week in an ugly rainstorm down at Texas A&M. That was a good job by the Aggies that day. Brian Shaw making the stop. And now they're back in 3rd and 3 against this Husker defensive coach McBride.
And they have not had any success on 3rd down. 0 for 7 so far this afternoon.
Let's see who makes the play here. Fires high and battle in the end zone, incomplete. Spiller comes up, but it's incomplete. Worth a second look.
Man, I thought he caught it. Spiller is really arguing as if he did. A lot of times players will do that, but check him out right here on the post pattern. Good protection for Stewart. This is a great catch, great effort by number 87 here. Nope, good call by the official. The ball was loose over his shoulder on the ground. Disappointing result for Spiller and the Aggies.
Up over the top of the shoulder. So it is 4th down. And Stewart going out, and McCown is going to throw it. Incomplete. So trickery on the part of the Aggies fails. They line up the backup quarterback in the shotgun, and they send Stewart in motion out to the right. This is one of those plays that Dan Fouch used to draw up on the sandlots when he was growing up, when he was a young boy.
Yeah, and it worked about as well on the sandlot, Brett. And the defensive line makes the play again. McCown trying to go across the middle to one of his tight ends. But watch the effort here. There's the block pass there. And that might have been picked off by the defensive backs of Nebraska.
McFarland deflected it for the Huskers. 1st down for Scott Frost. I've got a question about that play. Amon Green powers the 16. Now, because A&M have thrown out of the shotgun several times today, it couldn't be that different a look for them to have McCown throw it, could it? Unless you just want Stewart out of the way here.
Well, Stewart is right here. Here's McCown. Stewart goes in motion here. And it doesn't fool anybody. Nebraska doesn't react.
Look at McFarland.
McFarland right there. And then watch the play by number 99, Jason Wiltz, as he snuffs it. But McFarland might have caught it anyway.
Here's the toss to Amon. He's stacked up and keeps on plowing out beyond the 20-yard line. Well, McFarland recognized that another quarterback was standing back there in the tailback spot. It wasn't Parker, wasn't Hall, wasn't Hardeman. They're going to bring out the chains and measure it. And there, the young man Warfield played himself a good football game for McBride.
Now here it is one more time. Stewart going in motion, but a real heads-up play by Octavius McFarland as he recognizes where the quarterback wants to go with the pass, and Jason Wiltz with the deflection. But twice now to start the second half, the Aggies couldn't have had it better. They could recover a fumble on the 45-yard line, then get that great punt return by Dante Hall to give them good field position, but they do absolutely nothing with both opportunities.
Frost and the Huskers ready to go. Needing inches easily. Well, if you want to think ahead to whom Tom Osborne and Nebraska would be playing down in the Orange Bowl, certainly if Tennessee is anywhere nearly impressive tonight and win in that game against Auburn, then it would seem rather obvious that they would stay ahead in the ratings. But Tennessee needs to win, and they need to be fairly impressive about it, because Florida State's closing in on their heels in that 4th spot in the polls. And here on 1st down, Frost with the option to the wide side. He is the master of that pitch, isn't he? And Amon Green out at the 26-yard line with Jason Webster right there.
Amon Green hit by Jason Webster.
And I guess if Tennessee makes it on down to the Orange Bowl, then with that next pick, Florida State could be heading for New Orleans and the Sugar Bowl with Bobby Bowden. And who knows, they could be playing someone like Ohio State. We'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds tomorrow. Lamont Green, record-setting season. Akavika pounds ahead, and this is going to leave Nebraska in a third down situation. They have not been moving the ball here in this half so far, Dan, against the Aggies.
No, but they're still sitting on a 34-point lead. And one thing Jack Garou talked about is that he was concerned, Tom Osborne was, about Nebraska's focus coming out with this big lead out of the locker room. It's just human nature for the ball players to see the score, to realize that they're performing extremely well, and they will have a letdown of some type. But the Aggies have not been able to take advantage of that.
And on third down, Floss fires. Davison drops it. Nebraska must punt. Davison knows he should have caught it.
Thrown just a little bit behind him to the inside shoulder, but obviously Scott Frost upset, as well he should be. The receiver gets open, the quarterback delivers the ball. They're not all going to be perfect, believe me.
The voice of experience.
A lot of one-handed catches by guys like Jefferson and Joyner and Chandler and Winslow.
Kush going to punt again here, Dan, and see if Hall can get off another good return. High spiral, and he's forced to make the third catch because of the hang time on that punt. It's a 41-yarder and a good one. So the Aggies will be coming out from their own 31-yard line when we come back. Walk in San Antonio, great city for this Big 12 championship game, sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Of course, they will be bringing you the SEC title game out of Atlanta later tonight between Tennessee and Auburn. Terry Bowden trying to do his daddy Bobby Bowden a huge favor in that one. Downfield, long, overthrown, intercepted, picked off at the 38-yard line by the deep man, the roverback. Mike Brown was back there.
He talked about him being the deep man. That's exactly where Mike Brown was on this play, Brent. Brandon Stewart trying to make something happen, give his receiver a chance to make a big play. But when you got two defensive backs back there, that's usually going to be your result. And Mike Brown gets just his second interception on the year. And I know one thing about RC. He cannot believe that his offense is being totally shut down by Nebraska.
A lot of other coaches around the Big 12, though, are not that surprised. On the option, short side, and Shevin Wiggins, the wingback, the ball carrier that time. That's his first carry. You know, there is a story that did not receive much attention nationally. I don't know how much it got back in the Lincoln, Omaha area, but a year ago, the week prior to that Texas game, remember they came out of a tough battle in some bad weather conditions. Nebraska did against Colorado at home. Several of the players came down with the flu, and not much was made of it. But this year, about 8 weeks ago, Osborne ordered up flu shots for the entire team. And when I asked him about it yesterday, he said there was no question that the team was not healthy a year ago, but they are this season. I'm not offering any kind of an alibi over what happened last year.
And they didn't either, Brent. You know, to their credit, they said, hey, we came out flat. We weren't prepared. Texas made a great play on the 4th and short. And they never mentioned anything about the fact that they went in less than 100% healthy.
Well, it'll be interesting, Dan, to see who they do draw down in the Orange Bowl. And again, it could be in Pro Players Stadium. That's where they'll play it. And that's on grass. And you want to always keep that in mind when you're talking about Nebraska. For whatever the reasons are, they are more effective and lethal on a carpet like this. The cuts are better. Frost keeps it hammered down at the 22-yard line. Now, if Nebraska goes on and wins the Orange Bowl, they would wind up 13-0, and that would be the first 13-0 school in history not to win the national championship. And of course, Coach Osborne, somewhat philosophical about it, he said, well, if we could get together next year and have a national championship, why couldn't we do it this year? And you know, it's a very, very good point, because remember, the Rose Bowl becomes part of the alliance next year. But he said it's much like being in Penn State's position of a couple of years ago. They went unbeaten after the Rose Bowl, played your Ducks, and won that game, but no chance to win the title. Deflected pass and incomplete. And so it's just one of those fluky things. There's no way you can figure it out. It would be much better if Michigan and Nebraska, of course, could get together and play the game.
I'd be all for it, Brent. You know, the thing about Nebraska, this is a very impressive performance they're putting on today. If they were to go to the Orange Bowl and play a game similar to this one, and Michigan, even if Michigan wins, and if they're not as impressive, that's the bad thing is you got to win with style now. Winning is just not good enough. I mean, you got to go out and you got to pour on the points and do it with great flair.
Style points. It's like diving.
Yeah.
Third down and 7 now. To the right, penalty flag is thrown. Diving attempt in the end zone. We have not had many penalties in this game. Roger Riley, the crack stats man all over it, knows how to hold up one finger, doesn't he, Dan?
And
I mean, he was really on that one.
Does that mean there's been 2 penalties then, Roger?
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still third down.
Well, let's check in with John Saunders. John?
Time for the Burger King update. Army-Navy game, and it was Chris McCoy's day. Tosses this one 11 yards to LeBron Butts. 39-7 at that point. For McCoy, 74 yards through the air and a touchdown, and 205 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Brent.
Mercy, that game's always a lot closer than that, John. That's amazing. A blowout either way, the Army-Navy game. Navy was a heavy favorite, though, this year. Incomplete. Newcomb, the intended receiver that time. Frost dashing downfield. He's either saying you should have cut in that direction or you should have thrown a yellow flag. I'm not sure which point he wanted to make down there.
Well, last week against Colorado, Newcomb had a brain cramp as he was running in the secondary and ran the wrong pattern. Would have been an easy touchdown for him. And I think Scott was talking to him again. Now, this is the pattern where you're supposed to go to the corner. Don't continue on to the post. But remember, he's just a true freshman, and what a talent.
Here's Chris Brown to attempt the 44-yard field goal. Nailed it. Oh, she's got a strong leg. On top of everything else, Nebraska with a powerful kicking game. So Nebraska puts 40 on the board right now. So this is coming up Thursday night, the Home Depot College Football Awards Show. That's everything except the Heisman, as I remember, that's in there. All of the big awards. You can find out about the Doak Walker. I would think that Ricky Williams of Texas would have to be a leading candidate. He enjoyed a great year on a bad team. Certainly Amon Green, I don't want to take anything away from him. Curtis Enos, the great one at Penn State, also one of the finalists in that. Don't think there's any question, ladies and gentlemen, about the Jim Thorpe. I think we can just send that award to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to a fellow by the name of Woodson up there who plays for the Wolverine. Going to get a workout from Ryan Leaf. Dan, you haven't seen Ryan in person. Ryan can take it downfield deep, okay?
And I like his attitude, Brent. He plays the passing side of quarterback very similar to the way Scott Frost plays the running type of quarterback. Totally oblivious to the defense, fearless, and when you're a quarterback like Leaf, and he's got 4 or 5 receivers, Woodson can't cover them all.
That's right. And remember, Michigan did not play Purdue, I don't believe, this year, so they did not look at a wide-open passing attack like they're going to face out in Pasadena. Now, I don't know about the other side of the ball. I don't know about Coach Price's defense, if they can hold up against Michigan. And then, of course, you'll get a chance tonight to see the high-strutting Tennessee Volunteers. Peyton Manning, he came back for his senior season. He passed up the National Football League. And Auburn with a pretty good quarterback by the name of Damian Craig. He's more of the all-around type athlete if you haven't seen him, and he can do a lot of dangerous things. That should be a dandy tonight at Atlanta. Tennessee and Auburn. It doesn't get any better than the SEC when they start to play at the top of their game. I'm telling you, so it's some kind of football. Parker is the running back. He'll get the toss from Stewart. That's a nice block. And dove for the first down marker. Just missed it by about a half yard. Clint Finley, the freshman free safety, who's going to see a lot of playing time in the years ahead for the Huskers, was there.
Aggie fans say, hey, it's about time. Where's this been all day? Good blocking on the outside. Leroy Hodge gives Parker the opportunity to get 9 yards and almost 10.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
If you ask Coach McBride who's the best offensive player he played this year, it's got to be Corby Jones of what he did for Missouri on that Saturday game.
Absolutely. Led the Tigers, put them in position to beat the mighty Cornhuskers.
You know, I think part of the reason they fell is that a lot of the voters didn't realize how improved that Missouri team is under Coach Smith. That's a pretty good football team now.
And they're very similar in style to Nebraska. I think Larry Smith kind of patterned his offense after the Nebraska offense. A lot of power, big running backs, but also the ability with a very athletic quarterback in Corby Jones to run very effective option plays.
Got a first down with a shotgun. That's their only first down on a 3rd down in this game for the Aggies. That's how good the Nebraska defense has been, even without Jason Peter. Much of the game, he started and played, but was forced out by an injury. And the pass is complete to Derek Spiller, the tight end, and a little bit shaken up on the play.
Stewart's pass complete to Derek Spiller. Tackle made by Eric Johnson.
6:19 to go here in the 3rd. A rout. Not going to be a 4th quarter miracle in this one, like the one that torched the Huskers a year ago. Parker slashes through, breaks a tackle, and finally down at the 46-yard line. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Brett, you mentioned about how well Nebraska was able to step up and fill the void left by Jason Peter. There's a reason for that. The great thing about the Nebraska program, not only about walk-ons, is they try to play as many people at home as possible. Consider the statistic. The last 2 home games against Oklahoma and Iowa State, they played over 100 players in each game. That's 34 more than they could bring to this game.
It's amazing, isn't it? When you go in there and watch him, Jack, what we have through the years. Side handoff out of the shotgun to Sir Parker.
And also, Brent, when you have a championship game, it gives you that extra week of practice. Then you go to the bowl game, you get those extra couple of weeks of practice. So the Nebraska program just keeps rolling and rolling because they make these bowl games. They play for national championships. They have their pick of the country as far as recruiting fine young athletes. And they are allowed to play a lot of them and practice a lot of them.
Great facility up there in Lincoln. Of course, they were one of the originators of the great weight room and weight training through the years. Four fires complete to Bumgardner, who hung on. Battle for about a half yard.
You know he's going to battle too.
Yeah.
Because he, the poor kid dropped that ball at where he was wide open in the second half. And look at the effort that he puts forth on this play. Doesn't go out of bounds after the catch right here as he gets away from Harrison, and then about 12, 13, maybe 106 Huskers hit him.
Here's 3rd down and 3. And Wistrom said he was pulled across. Let's see if the officials agree with that.
He was pointing at Chris Ruman, left tackle for the Aggies.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. Still 3rd down.
You know what his nickname is, folks. Got to be Digger. Done a good job. Kept this game moving along here.
Here's number 76, Chris Ruman. Yeah, he's rocking back in his stance, and that's enough to send Wistrom on his way, almost like a starter's pistol.
3rd down and 8. Short of the first down. They've got to throw that ball deep enough for a first down on those 3rd down plays, Dan. You know that.
I just don't understand it unless RC had already decided to go for it on 4th down, and why not, trailing by 37. But I always like to have my receivers go at least as far as the first down marker so that after they catch the ball, they don't have to worry about turning around and trying to break a tackle and make the first down.
Been a pretty good season for the Aggies. It's too bad it's coming to such a unfortunate ending. Well, it appears to be right now anyway. So here's 4th down and they're wide open. They put it. There's a penalty flag down on the play. And there's another one. Ralph Brown upset over here on the corner.
I think the first one's going to be illegal procedure against the Aggies. Second one is a dead ball call. And this discussion is taking way too long. This is not that complicated a game.
We have 2 dead ball fouls against the offense. False start, then a dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct will penalize 5 and then 15.
Now Derek Spiller gets the 15-yarder after the catch. Here he is, bottom of the screen. He is wide open. Nobody covers him for Nebraska, but the whistle had blown because of the illegal procedure, and now this is what gets Spiller the unsportsmanlike penalty, throwing the ball at the safety, Mike Brown. Really frustrated. That type of day for anybody wearing the maroon.
Obvious. Fleckler. Oh, what a great punt. Oh, did he turn that one loose? Oh, Newcomb just lets it go on into the end zone. 67 yards on that punt, ladies and gentlemen. He whaled that pigskin, didn't he? And Nebraska's whaling the Aggies right now, too. John, thank you very much. 43, Nebraska eyeing a return to the Orange Bowl, but this time the stakes a little bit higher, and Jason Peter hopes to be ready for that game. Forced out of this because of those back spasms, but like the warrior he is, he suited up and started this game and was forced out of it. Now his offensive teammates will take it on over, using the fullback Makovica, and that win making the stop. Jackaroo, we can't say enough about Scott Frost. Originally going to Stanford, then coming back home to Nebraska and stepping up as #1, trying to replace the great Tommy Frazier, huh?
Well, Brent, also, there's a different kind of Scott Frost out on the field today. At first, I thought it might be as a payback to the fans that booed him in Lincoln, but I'm beginning to think that maybe he's letting all the Big 12 coaches know that voted him 3rd in the All Big 12. Maybe he's trying to deliver a message to them today.
There he is. Out to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, but you know, Jack and Brent, Scott Frost is 0 for 3 here in the second half. He's killing the Cornhuskers.
Well, here's the kind of day that the young man Newcomb enjoyed. Running, catching, and returning. Star of the future and a decision to make as far as Tom Osborne and Newcomb are concerned. Does he become a quarterback or does he stay on the outside? Like Coach says, we'll make that decision when we have to. And Frost made the decision for a first down. Keeps it to the 34-yard line. You know, Dan, when I think about the coaches voting here for Scott Frost, and again, in case you did not hear, the coaches voted Frost
on the option.
The 3rd All Big 12 quarterback. The first one, Corby Jones. We've been talking about him. The young man, the transfer student at Kansas State. I was looking at the numbers today and checking, and the young man at Kansas State has had a fine year, and so too certainly we know has Jones. It's almost too bad that there wasn't a separate spot for Frost on the first team, you know, like athlete, you know, and you can pencil him in down there. Right?
Well, you know, Brent, when you look at, here's that pass I was telling you about, huh?
You know, he had a wide receiver all alone down here. Davison was breaking free, and apparently Newcomb didn't see him in time and pick him up. Davison was behind the safety man. There was a flag on the play at any rate.
Yeah, Joel Makovica was with the illegal block there as Newcomb was making up his mind not to throw the pass. Disappointing me no end.
Yeah. We want to see him throw the ball, right?
Well, you know, you talk about him being a quarterback. He still has to beat out Frankie London. Here's the block here in the back by Joel Makovica. That's the one that wasn't called in the first quarter. Remember that? But getting back to your point about giving Scott Frost a position on the on the first team Big 12, Tom Osborne said, you know, a lot of those other quarterbacks, Bishop and Jones, they had good years later. Scott Frost has been solid from the very first game. And the real breakout game for Frost was his performance at Husky Stadium against the Washington Huskies. That really set the tone for his year.
Inside. Shuffle pass off to Green down at the 32-yard line.
And you know, when you rush for 1,000 yards and you pass for 1,000 yards, you're more productive for your offense than if you were to throw for 3,000 yards and not rush for any.
I guess I understand that.
I think I got you on that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Don't do the math on that one.
Let me think about that one for a little bit. Second down and at 13. Ross going to put it up. The fullback Makovica battles for that first down. What great effort. Powers across midfield. Fumble. Put it down. Trying to get a few more yards. He fumbled on the play, and it goes over to the Aggies.
He's almost his own worst enemy on this play because he just refuses to go down. He just wants to drill Aggies. There's one. Give me another one. There's another one. But the ball's ripped out by Dat Wynn, and the recovery by Toya Jones. Another great play by Dat Wynn.
That's about the only number that's even, isn't it? From the shotgun, Brandon Stewart. Sets the screen. Dante dances to the 45-yard line. Good gain on first down of about 7 yards that time, and the tackle by Joe Walker.
The Aggies are going to be in good shape for the future. They get Hall back, they get Parker back, Stewart's back, Tiki Hardeman. Tight end Spiller will be back next year, along with their receivers.
Stewart fires high and incomplete. Aaron Oliver let it slip through.
Stewart's pass incomplete, intended for Aaron Oliver.
Third down. No penalty flag, but it looked close down there, didn't it? Brandon Harrison with the coverage for the Cornhuskers.
Here he is, number 2, bottom of the screen, working with Chris Taylor. And that's a nice play. Taylor should have made that catch, though. And I'm not sure I understand what the punting team's doing out here, unless they fake this one and check out Chris Taylor at the bottom of the screen.
Unless he throws it. You know, he's got a great arm, Leckler. Yes, he is. He's going to fire it up high. Somebody running under it. If they don't go for it, it's a pass incomplete on fourth down. That's a play they worked on this week. Lance Brown, realizing what it was, got over and batted it.
This is a heck of a throw by Leckler, and watch Brown, number 14, come over, make the play, and not interfere with Taylor. But the one thing on that play, though, is Leckler has to throw the ball higher in the air and let the receiver get down there under it and give him a chance to make the play.
Even the trick plays are not working for the Aggies today. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The fourth quarter of the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. A runaway, Nebraska, unbeaten, and stalking Michigan all over Texas A&M, 40-3, and trying to make a statement and head down to the Orange Bowl. And they hand off to Green, who battles his way across midfield on the first carry of the fourth quarter. And Dan Fouts, I'm Brent Musburger, the third member of our team here today, Jack Arute. And Jack, this has been a great city San Antonio has for this championship game, hasn't it, partner?
Brent, it's been absolutely terrific. In fact, look, I got myself a little souvenir of San Antonio, and the guy said what they need to do down here is what is the Mexican hat dance. I got one from Fouts, too.
Happy Peter Root, we call him, ladies and gentlemen.
A little light in the loafers, I think.
He said that, Jack. I didn't part it.
Macavickel
Here
on the
are
carry,
numbers now
knocked
from
down
the
by Gatwin and
third
Brent
quarter.
Driver.
This powerful Nebraska team against R.C. Slocum, the winningest coach in Texas A&M history, but he will not add to that total here today in San Antonio. Your numbers look like this, Dan.
Well, what do you want me to check? This one? How about that one? Yeah, that's close. And then look at that. 223 yards rushing. They come in averaging almost 400, so they're a little bit off their game.
Where's John Mackovic and James Brown when we need them? Not even that play would help, come to think of it.
They're just totally relentless on offense.
First down,
They can hit
Nebraska.
you with the power, go outside, and Frost is having a big day as well.
Want to make a prediction on the upcoming Tennessee-Auburn game?
I like Tennessee. I like Peyton Manning. I think that he realizes that he can silence people like John Saunders, you know, those doubters. He feels that, you know, good game tonight, win that SEC championship, and then have a shot at the national title.
Frost going to pull it back out. One hopper for Brown, and it's incomplete. Frost has been asked, you know, many times if he'd like to play Michigan.
We'd love to play Michigan. We've seen them on TV. We see what they can do. We know what we could do. We have a better running game than Ohio State. They ran the ball on them. You know, Michigan managed 6 points on offense against Ohio State. I think our defense is similar to Ohio State's and Michigan's, and nobody this year has been able to stop our offense.
A pity that we'll never find out. Second down and 10. Frost on the option. Here comes Amai. Barges ahead for the first down. That was a powerful run with the defender hanging on.
Amon Green on the carry, tackled by Rich Cody.
Jack, what's your feeling about Michigan and Nebraska?
Well, I'll tell you what, Brent, I don't really care about my feeling as much as what Nebraska fans feel. This is the hottest selling T-shirt here today in the Alamodome. Check it out. They're going to root for Ryan Leaf and company in the Rose Bowl.
Key word there, temporary. You never know when you'll be facing somebody like that again. But
First and 10. Almond picking his way behind Anderson, and then he slams to the 31-yard line.
when you think about any weakness that this Nebraska team may have, it's in their secondary. And remember, today that secondary has played extremely well, picking off Brandon Stewart twice, and he had only thrown 2 interceptions all year.
Dan, the one thing that can get a team like Nebraska into difficulty is if you get ahead of them and you force Osborne to go to a passing game. It is difficult sometimes for him to play an extreme game of catch-up against a Tennessee or a Florida State or somebody like that.
It certainly doesn't happen often.
That's right. Second down, and here's Frost busting free. First down for the Huskers. Jones bringing him down, the safety.
But, you know, I think that answer, the answer to that question may lie in number 12 we've seen today, Bobby Newcomb, and his ability to make plays as a wide receiver for the Cornhuskers.
We saw Tennessee. UCLA began its great comeback in the second half and came up short against the Volunteers. How do you think Tennessee would match up against Nebraska if it comes to that?
Well, I kind of like Nebraska against anybody, and I would love to see them play against Michigan.
Kavika stopped after a gain of about a yard.
We've seen Nebraska 3 times this year. Once was against Oklahoma when they absolutely blew away the Sooners 69-7. We saw them the next week against Missouri in that unforgettable game. But this performance all up and down the line has been dominating for the Big Red Machine.
Nakovic is shaken up. Leg injury, and he is coming off here on the near side. There he is.
Looks like he might have had a right ankle sprain to begin with. He's got more tape on his right shoe than his left.
Legate now the fullback. Second down and 9. Green still in. So Frost behind Legate's block, breaks free. Reaches for another first down at the 10-yard line.
You know, the thing about Frost is he's a big guy. You know, he's 6'3", weighs 220 pounds, and I think that people don't realize how fast he is and how quick he is. When he made his decision on that run, he just flew up through the hole and picked up a great gain.
First down outside the 10-yard line, so they could still pick up a first down going in this time. Here's Amon Green slashing to the 6-yard line. Dan, I want to pick up on a conversation you and I had about Scott Frost last night. We were with our friend Budweiser and Jack Arute, we should point out, but we were saying what a rugby player this young man would make.
You know, he might think about going on down to Australia.
Exactly.
And taking all his press clippings with him and giving rugby a shot, because he obviously knows how to run the option, which is a lot of the rugby game is. But I think he'd be pretty good in those scrums too.
Oh,
look at that hard-nosed quarterback.
You bet.
He could play without a face mask.
The game of rugby, no equipment. And here's Frost running that option. There's that pitch to Amon. Bottle, touchdown, Nebraska. Doing it every which way here today. There'll be no miracle comeback by the Southern Division in this year's championship game.
And the Nebraska fans are tossing oranges out on the field. Six yards out, and Amon Green makes no doubt about breaking that plane of glass on the goal line that time.
Next up, Pro Player Stadium. Bring on Tennessee or Florida State or anybody else. The Huskers will be there. Still unbeaten. .13 to go, and time permitting, we'll have the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report with John and Todd. They'll get you right up to the minute as we lead you into the Tennessee-Auburn game, the battle for the SEC championship presented by Dr. Pepper. Short kickoff this time. It'll be fielded at about the 12-yard line, and Taylor left return because that's where the kickoff was placed, out to about the 26-yard line. Jack Arute.
Brent, there's one fellow that wishes he was on the sidelines today, that calls the radio sidelines for Nebraska. Gary Java suffered a problem, a medical emergency, and he is not here today. Our best wishes go out to him. But guess who they got to replace him? Dan, you know him, Jerry Taggy.
Yeah, I know him only too well. Back in 1971, I think it was, Brent. My Ducks went into Lincoln and lost to Taggy's Huskers 34-7, and by the looks of this score, we did pretty good that day.
First down and 10. Stewart wanted to set the screen and almost picked off in the middle. Oh, my. That was Tony Ortiz. Pretty good-looking football player, number 37 is. Watch Ortiz get after it, and look at this. Now, that's the early edition, huh?
Hot off the press.
Wow. You get that first copy, but huh? You get
Nebraska
that.
wins it.
That's it.
What you have to do is fill in the final score.
There's a scoop.
This was printed 4 days ago.
10:58. Stewart. The downfield too high. And it's third down.
Stewart's pass incomplete, intended for Matt Bumgarner.
So Brandon Harrison, a junior corner, been pretty active in that defensive backfield. Coach Mack used a lot of defensive players here today.
Yeah, Jack was talking about how many they used the last couple of home wins.
There's a reminder of what we got coming your way tomorrow night on The Wonderful World of Disney, The Jungle Book, and then the National Geographic. We'll bring a special. That's on the network tomorrow night. This one will be flagged.
Yeah, Jack said that he used over 100 players against Oklahoma and Iowa State because they were playing at home. They could dress that many. It'd be interesting to find out if Osborne's been able to play all 66 of his players today.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
I know a couple of quarterbacks haven't seen the field. Frankie London and my favorite name, Monte Cristo.
We see one of the young Aggies being forced off. Tough day at the office for RC. Still 11 minutes to go. Trailing 47-3. That was Michael Williams that was being carted off. Escapes, fires high, almost picked off on the deflection. And there is a very late flag. I mean, the back judge threw that flag 10-15 seconds after the completion of that play. Spiller was complaining. And they get the call.
They might have just had those flags tucked a little bit too deep in their pockets. This was clearly pass interference. There's Spiller. There's the bump right there by Clint Finley. And the flags don't come out till Spiller argues.
Stewart in the pocket. Fires for a first down. He put the ball in Chris Cole's hands. Report on Michael Williams from the sideline is concussion. So the young man finished for this game. And of course the Aggies will be heading on to a bowl game. They'll get a chance here to regroup in a few weeks and erase the memory of this one. It is interesting that these two teams have not played each other since 1988. That was the kickoff classic played in New Jersey. And all the other games were played up in Nebraska in the series. This is the first time they've met down here in Texas. You could see the yellow come flying by at the tail end of that. And there's the series standings, 5-1. And the victory by the Aggies, you got to go all the way back to the 50s when a fellow by the name of Bear Bryant was a head coach of a very tough bunch of survivors from that training camp that he ran down there. They still tell stories about that. You can listen to Gene Stallings for hours. Talk about what Bryant put those players through. Second down at 10. On the blitz. Down he goes at the 36-yard line. Tony Ortiz coming through.
And Ortiz is one of those athletic youngsters that has worked his way into the lineup and into the starting lineup because of athletic ability, speed, ability to close on the passer and then finish him off. 3.5 sacks now for Ortiz on the year.
Mack enjoying this one. His black shirt's doing well. Third down and 17 and still stomping and snorting and coming for more. Stewart does get it off. Diving reception, but short of a first down. The clock continues to run. The catch was made at midfield by Bumgarner. And it's going to be about 4th and 3 here at the 9:43. The Aggies, of course, are going to go for this.
And this is a very athletic catch. Great job by Bumgarner as he sees his quarterback in trouble, and then under pressure makes a nice catch.
On the sideline, another great catch. Out of bounds, right at the 20-yard line. Chris Cole makes this one.
And this is the way the Aggies wanted to start the game, getting Chris Cole man-to-man coverage in the secondary because of ability to make plays like that, as he takes that away from number 25, Joe Walker. Beautiful catch by Chris Cole.
And guess who's back? Number 98, Grant Wistrom, returns. He's down at the right rush end, coming around the tackle, the handoff, and there he is making the stop at the 17-yard line.
Yeah, he said enough is enough. Throw the bomb on 4th and short. I'm going to get back in the game and make some plays.
Brown now returns. Many of the regulars were out. Mike Brown, the rover, has come back in the game. Aaron Sweeney, the freshman corner, he's back in the game. 2nd down and 8. That was Wistrom who broke across and said he was pulled again.
Well, last time he was pulled by Chris Ruman, and he's arguing that Ruman got him again this time.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Still 2nd down.
You know, Wistrom already holds the Nebraska record for the most tackles for losses, and it is this great start, that first step.
Just a little flinch too, and he saw it and was in the backfield.
And it makes it 2nd down and 13. Want to have some fun? Just watch 98 get off the ball. And they blitz from outside him. Passes underneath to Dante Hall, slips a tackle. 15-yard line and out of bounds inside the 15. Still short of the 1st down. Sweeney with coverage. Now here's what Wistrom has to say about getting off the edge.
When you're coming off the edge, the main objective is to get the offensive lineman to move his feet. Once you got the offensive lineman moving up here, moving upfield, you can do a couple of different things. You can, if you got him beat to the outside, you can continue to the outside with the speed rush and just dip your shoulder and lean and rip to the inside. Or after you've beat him up the field a couple times, you've used a couple speed rushes and he jumps outside, then just do a quick counter. You can club him, you can grab his jersey, throw.
3rd and 3, touchdown Aggies. Wistrom is double teamed. He is nailed at the 20-yard line. Spiller caught the pass for the touchdown. But it was Mark Broyles who sealed up Wistrom, the fullback. Wistrom was coming off the edge that time. The tackle and the fullback did the job, and the Aggies with their first touchdown of the game.
Clear throwing lane for Brandon Stewart. There's his tight end, and that's that running ability we talked about in Spiller. I get the feeling that Nebraska did not want to allow a touchdown in this game. That's why Wistrom and Warfield and Mike Brown were back in the lineup.
Going for 2. Stewart has to hurry. He's hit on the release, and it is incomplete. Hit from the blind side. He was in a foot race that time, and Steve Warren, who replaced the injured Jason Peter, runs him down. 47-9 the score. 8:25 to go, but the Aggies put a touchdown on the board. Well, Keith, we hope that your party lasts a little bit longer than ours, partner. It's 47-9. Nebraska. The Huskers, quarterback Frost, been dominating here today.
Joe Walker.
Watch for the onside kick now. Kyle Bryant. The high bounce, picked up. Aggies have got it. Nat Wynn scoops it up and loving every moment of it.
It's a great play by Dat Wynn, but the bounce is absolutely perfect by Kyle Bryant. Up in the air, Bobby Newcomb has got to charge that ball to make the play in the air, and you see Dat Wynn knows that you cannot advance a recovered onside kick. Although he returned one for his team against a team that was kicking the onside kick for a touchdown. So pretty heads-up play by Dat Wynn.
Ball near midfield. See if they can find Spiller again. They got him in the slot. Fires to the outside man, complete, and suddenly the A&M receiving game. That's Leroy Hodge getting the job done. Jackaroot.
Hey, Brent, this is a guy called Little Red, and he's the newest mascot for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He was unveiled last year, and hey, guess what? It's me.
Oh, come on, Jack. You're kidding us. Who forgets, Jack? Huh? I don't believe it.
Prove it.
First down and 10. Stewart. In the middle, fires for Spiller. Penalty flag against Nebraska. 15 yards. Ortiz and an automatic first down.
They're going to get Ortiz for pass interference. It was another one of those late flags. Tom can't believe it. It sure looked like Ortiz had good coverage on the tight end that time. There they are right here, hooked up. Boy, I'm not sure that that's pass interference. The official must have seen the right arm contact there, but he certainly didn't affect Spiller's effort to the football.
Is that the back judge again who threw that?
You betcha.
First down. Stewart in trouble. Going down in a heap at the 35-yard line, Joe Walker. There's number 25, the freshman Rover.
You won't see a safety blitz executed any better than that one. Joe Walker came in totally free.
Now we will find out the truth. We will find out if he really, it was Jack. Look at what he will go to.
You get on camera.
Isn't that something? Stewart. Fires complete. Should have just gone out of bounds. Instead, he kept battling for that first down. Bumgarner's been on fire ever since he dropped that one pass. That's a 20-yard gain for the young man.
And that's the Aggie spirit. Never say die, regardless of the odds or the score. That's as good an effort as we've seen all day long. Check this one out. All right, Ralph Brown there couldn't bring him down.
On first down, Sir Parker cuts inside to the 10-yard line, and it'll be second down and 5. Warfield making the stop for Nebraska.
Sir Parker will be carrying one out by Eric Warfield.
Stewart.
Stewart's pass intended for Derek Spiller, incomplete.
Good coach.
Charlie McBride, their experience is just fantastic. They've seen it all.
3rd and 6. Incomplete. The receiver cut the other way. Spiller. The throw was back toward the post.
Stewart's pass incomplete, intended for Spiller.
4th down coming up against McBride's defense. wide receivers as Spiller's off the line to the left. Middle, incomplete. Good coverage that time by Walker again.
Yeah, another one of those true freshmen. Although at this point of the season, there are no true freshmen out there. 12th game of the year. And number 25, Joe Walker's going to make this play on Dan Campbell.
Ball control drive for the Huskers coming up when we return. 6:43 to go here in San Antonio. Long day for the Aggies. Scott Frost. We'll see if he can bring down his clock a little bit for the Huskers. Put into Amon Green's hands, and he rushes to the 14-yard line. It's interesting here how Frazier performed when he won the national championship for the Huskers one of the times. And you can see Frost's numbers this year.
Amazing that Frazier had the edge in the passing yards.
Tommy was a good college passer, Dan. He didn't have that pro type arm, but he could throw. He could throw very, very well. Frost puts it in Amon Green's hands, out of bounds at the 19-yard line.
I asked Tom Osborne how this team ranked with all the other great teams he's coached in his years at Nebraska. He says this may be the most enjoyable team because he really hadn't had to do a lot of the coaching and motivating, and his staff hasn't had to do that because of the senior leadership of players like Wistrom and Peter and Frost and Makovica, and they take care of things. Aaron Taylor up front. They make sure the young guys follow the Nebraska way, and it's been a very enjoyable year as far as Tom Osborne is concerned.
First down. They had a 3rd and 1. Well, Smith Barney remembers, and don't we all remember this? 3rd down. Cross to the middle. Juggle. Diving touchdown, Nebraska. Davison on the deflection.
I talked to Scott Frost about this play just yesterday, and he said, you know, Dan, I did hit Chevin Wiggins right in the chest with that pass. He was kind of hoping that Wiggins would have made the catch on the first delivery.
I think Wiggins should have selected for our national soccer team over in France, where we're going to fumble. A hot potato down there, folks. Nobody wanted it, and finally the Aggies come up with it. That was Flemons. He's a freshman from right here in San Antonio, Ronald Flemons. So there's a nice moment for the young man.
Again, a lack of concentration by Amon Green. Fumbled last week against Colorado. He's fumbled twice today. This one he doesn't get back.
Randy McCown checks in at quarterback here for the Aggies with 5:26 to go. He's a sophomore from Jacksonville, Texas, 6'1", 212. His numbers. He'll get a chance now to put it up against this Husker defense. From the shotgun. Low and incomplete. At one time, Stewart and McCown were splitting duties as the Aggie quarterback, and then the coaching staff made the decision to go with Stewart. He lit a fire under the team. Great comeback against Oklahoma State. And then they hit the wall here today against Nebraska. 2nd down and 10. Caught at the 25-yard line. Chris Cole. Everything's fine except for the fumbles, huh, Dan?
Yeah, and remember one of those controversial touchdowns back there, and was that the 2nd quarter that you were all over, calling his knee out of bounds before he broke the plane. Tough day, though, for this guy, Brandon Stewart.
Third down and 3, and a little confusion there. They'll get it straightened out. Screen. What a strong run by Hardiman.
And he ran over Erwin Sweeney, and Sweeney's still down with a shoulder injury. Great catch by Hardiman on the screen pass from McCown. He's just going to lower his head right into Sweeney's shoulder.
Ball just shy of the 10-yard line for the Aggies. Other freshman, Texas, in that defensive backfield. McCown fires, dropped at the 2-yard line, so it'll be second down. Cole let that one slip through his hands, eh? Peterson, the defender, number 11. The coach is using all their reserves now here as the time winds down on the championship game. Flag, and it's third down.
McCown's real lucky that number 2, Brandon Harrison, didn't pick that one off. It was a hook pattern out there to Leroy Hodge, and Harrison really, this one comes right at you, breaks in front of the receiver, number 2 right there, and almost picked it off.
Third down for McCown. Deflected at the goal line, incomplete by Finley, Clint Finley. His daddy, a high school football coach.
And he was turning around looking at that back judge, wondering if the flag was going to come out. Looked like a real good play as he took it away from Dan Campbell, knocked it away at the last minute. Another ball that could have been intercepted.
Timeout, the Aggies, prior to their 4th and 10. So we'll take a break here from San Antonio and come right back. Hasn't been an issue for a long time. Folks over here in the stands, now you see if you've got a son or you got a brother or sister, see, that's Mr. McFarland. That's Octavius' dad down there. Now, look at, there's the Chris Brown family right there. See, now there's Zadisca. That's Pops. He went to an Orange Bowl, so he's got that logo there. There's Mrs. Wistrom. Mom, you wear the name of your child on your jersey. And you're a Nebraska child. That's what you do. 4th down now for the Aggies. McCown fires, diving catch in the end zone. Touchdown, A&M. A penalty flag. Holding against the Aggies. It's coming back. So hold on, everybody. No touchdown, and the parents down here in front of me are up cheering over that call.
That's the kind of day it's been for R.C. Slocum and the A&M Aggies. Make a great play in the end zone by Aaron Oliver. And it's all coming back.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Good job by McCown avoiding the pressure here.
Oh, Mrs. Wistrom said they were tackling my son when he was coming in. You got to throw the flag on that. I could see her up right down here in front of me. She was yelling on that play. Out of the way, Mom.
You know, the moms are only, you know, there's 22 guys out there, but moms are only looking at one.
That's right, man. She's watching it. Get out in there now. She's 4th down on the 25-yard line. Double team Wistrom. Dives through again and pressure from the other side. This time they get 84. Mike Rucker.
And Rucker right here, he's going to be a star next year. He's got 7.5 sacks this year. He didn't get the double team that Wistrom did. He got the quarterback.
These moms and pops and brothers and sisters over here. It is a Nebraska family that supports Coach Tom Osborne and the Cornhuskers. Traveled all the road games. We've seen these families, Missouri and Boulder, Colorado. They go with the Cornhuskers wherever they go. Sims checks into the game. To the 37-yard line as the Cornhuskers and all these families get ready to go down into the South Florida area. Who knows who they will wind up playing. If form holds tonight and Tennessee wins, then Tennessee would be playing Nebraska, it appears, down in the Orange Bowl. You got to hold on, because if they are not impressive tonight, who knows if Florida State can jump them. Frankie London checks in as the Cornhusker. And Terrell Buckhalter is the running back. Fumble by the fullback. And it's picked up by the Aggies. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Jason Glenn, a freshman linebacker, scoops up the fumble and dashes into the end zone.
Willie Miller's number 15. He never quite gets his handoff from Frankie London. Ball goes all the way through his body, and there is Jason Glenn, number 23. And what a thrill for him. He's another one of those true freshmen, and he's got a memory. Frost's first play out of the game, and his team gives up a touchdown.
Frost was not happy about giving up that touchdown either.
And just before, when Scott Frost came off the game, we had a shot of the families and the Nebraska fans on their feet giving Scott Frost a standing ovation for his fine work today.
Well, let's take a break and check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
Well, guys, coming up, it's the SEC Championship game presented by Dr. Pepper. A couple of great quarterbacks, although, Todd, you think it could come down to the running game?
I think this is why Tennessee has the edge. Jamal Lewis averages 112 yards a game. Auburn only 82 yards a game rushing as a team.
It's all coming up right now. Back to you, Brent.
Very much. 3.5 minutes to go here, and you know, some more of our fine crew. We should check our technical director, Doug Schmidt. He slips off and does a little golf on us every now and then, but for the most part, Doug, he does pretty good with his fingers down there. You know, he keeps them honest down there in the truck. And of course, our associate producer, great football fan, always nice to have him, Patrick McManus, as we watch the two-point conversion here for the Aggies. Picked off and knocked down. Wistrom was over there on the corner, nothing doing. Our associate director, Russell Brooks. Our production manager, Beth Giuliani Gatto. Our technical operations manager, Jay Gleason. Assistants to the producer, Elizabeth Reel, Brian Lockhart, and our spotter, spotting hurt today, Brian Mobilson. Timeout, San Antonio. Well, the Aggies have made it respectable as far as the second half is concerned, outscoring the Cornhuskers, but it got out of hand on them early, and it was just too far. With Kyle Bryant, let's see if he can make another beautiful onside kick. This one short of the 10-yard, picked up by Brown on the run, man, and he took it on the fly, didn't he? Did not hesitate. Stepped right in there. Says enough of that onside kick business. Remember, Colorado hit one, almost another one. Here today it was A&M.
And the difference between Brown, the way he played it, and the way Bobby Newcomb played it is Brown didn't wait for it to go 10 yards. He attacked the ball, made the recovery on the fly, and almost took it all the way in.
Gate and Sims are the running backs. They are behind London, the backup quarterback. Finds an alley to the 13-yard line with 3:24 to go. Well, we bring down the curtain on the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship. Thanks to our red hot man down there, Dave Hatter down there on the right side. He gets those commercials in for us. And we're going to be sending you on your way here soon. You'll want to see the start of the Tennessee-Auburn game. Straight ahead, Legate, junior fullback. And Nebraska tried to put one more touchdown up on the board to get that one back.
There's too much Nebraska in that first half, Brent. Their first 6 possessions, 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals. They had excellent field position throughout the first half, and they took advantage of it. Great win for Tom Osborne and the Cornhuskers.
Still unbeaten and headed to the Orange Bowl. Could be Tennessee, which would move Florida State 3 up to the Nokia Sugar Bowl, where they could be taking on Ohio State if that happens. Stopped at the 5-yard line, Jay Sims. Time down to 2:26 now. And of course the Rose Bowl will match up Michigan against Washington State. And that apparently is the lone chance for Nebraska to win its 3rd national championship in 4 years under Coach Osborne. Lost watching and hoping that his teammates can put 6 more up on the board. Negate again. So our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, no surprise here. Scott Frost, great day as the quarterback of the Cornhuskers. And that win, outstanding linebacker for Texas A&M, and Chevrolet donates $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. What a fine young player he is.
Yeah, and Scott Frost did it with his arm today, completing 12 out of 17 for 201 yards.
Here's the 3rd down for the Huskers. London going to keep it into the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska. They put the capper on the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship. A year ago, heartbreak. 4th down and inches. The pass by James Brown to the tight end. Denied a chance for a national championship. A year later in San Antonio, Nebraska storms all over Texas A&M. Puts a big 50 up on the board. Tom Osborne now wants the extra point that could make this one 54-15. Ted Retzlaff will attempt this one, so they'll switch over and have a left-footed kicker. And it is good, which means our score, Nebraska 54, Texas A&M 15. So we'll wrap up the final minute. Tough day for R.C. Slocum and the Aggies, but they've got a bowl game still to look forward to. The coaches will regroup, bring this team back together.
And you know, statistically, the Cornhuskers average 46.5 points per game. That's why they're the #1 scoring offense in the nation. And they only give up 16.5, and they're right on that, which is giving up just 15 today. And over it on the offense with that big 54. Who would have thought that in a championship game, a team like Texas A&M would get totally dominated by Nebraska?
Nice man.
And he's got a good staff, very cooperative. We really enjoyed our time in College Station with RC and his staff, and they were really looking forward to today. They really thought they had a better chance.
And on the other side of the field, if you and I had a vote, Nebraska would be #1.
Tough to argue with you on that one, buddy.
Just a good-looking football team. I can't get over that they had to go 65 yards without timeouts just for a chance to tie Missouri.
Yep. A good, solid Missouri football.
Absolutely. Stumbles and down at the 15-yard line. That's Sir Parker returning that kickoff. Being helped up. This one going to wind on down now. We hope that Jason Peter is well. We send along our best to the Cornhuskers. We will not be broadcasting the Orange Bowl. We'll be down at the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Certainly we will catch a couple of good teams down there, regardless of what happens in this next game or who they finally decide to send that way.
And when they talk about Jason Peter, they talk about his ability to change direction. And that's really remarkable for a defensive tackle in all changing direction is desire. And both he and Grant Wister really exemplified tremendous desire to make every play.
Only 2 undefeated teams left.
There's one of those freshmen you were talking about, Kyle Vanden Bosch. He's putting the Vanden Bosch on McCown.
And the Huskers go to 59-3 over the last 5 years. Think about that. They wrap up this, their first Big 12 Conference Championship. And the ball is complete at the 31-yard line. Leroy Hodge, the receiver. Final half minute. And Dan, I think you agree with me that San Antonio did a wonderful job of hosting this game, and hope to see the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game again back in San Antonio.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful city. I really enjoyed the Riverwalk, the parade this morning. I got to tip my hat to the Aggie band. They were awesome. Great wake-up call, having them drumming their way down the road.
Isn't it some side, isn't it, when they show up?
Oh. Glad they're on our side.
I think Reveille left early. Couldn't take it any longer. And this one going down at the 41-yard line. Final few seconds. Tom Osborne in Nebraska, unbeaten, and heading to the Orange Bowl. Coming up next, the SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper, Tennessee and Auburn. For Jack Arute, Dan Fouts, I'm Brett Musburger. So long, everybody, and congratulations to Nebraska.